Hello, my friends, and good morning. Welcome back to class here in GSC 120, or Concepts in Environmental Science Online. So this week, I want to be able to share with you a new phenomena, and that phenomena is how populations change over time, and that as populations grow, so too does technology. And how does that impact in what we define as environmental scientists, the environment? When we think about it, in the intricate dance of humanity and technology, our planet plays a host and a delicate and wants to maintain a delicate balance, equilibrium in the natural world. And because of how that equilibrium has to become established, the planet and the Earth systems are always in a flux. But then when we take a look at, say, the biosphere, where humans can be found, populations will surge and as technology advances. The more complex technology becomes, the more sustainable populations can be because the populations are growing that technology. But a shadow looms over that equilibrium. And that's what we want to be able to study as the phenomena. Human activity is fueled by ever-growing populations, and it drives an overall demand for resources, from energy to food. Our consumption levels are skyrocketing in correlation to that of the population growth. And it places an immense strain on our environment. And our goal this week is to acknowledge these impacts, but then what are these impacts that we're ultimately producing are affecting our day-to-day lives? Technology, well, it offers solutions to many of our problems, exacts a toll, and that's where our phenomena comes into play. The extraction of, let's say, fossil fuels in the Appalachian coal region is a great example of it because it powers our machines. But those machines ultimately lead to the production of greenhouse gases, but also toxic elements that eventually make its way into the soil and water supplies that we use. And we also have to think that as the populations swell, well, so does our footprints. Land clearance for agriculture, growth of cities, these all couple together with industrialization. As populations grow, we become much more complex, and we produce byproducts that will disrupt the natural ecosystems of the Earth system. And we start to see dramatic changes. We've seen drops in biodiversity, increase in global warming trends, even the rise of cancers found in inner city environments where people are living near factories, such as Cancer Alley in Louisiana, a case study that we'll examine this week. But it's not all gloom and doom. People around the world are waking up to this reality, and that's one of the reasons why we study environmental science. There have been plenty of grassroots movements and global initiatives that acknowledge this problem and set forth initiatives such as those Millennium Development Goals to be able to make the planet much more sustainable and help mitigate the impacts of population change and the growth of technology. Because we're now at the point where scientific literacy and awareness is paramount in being able to acknowledge this phenomena and how it impacts the planet as a whole. This is something that we have not seen in human history since since before the industrial times. But this path forward requires a concentrated effort, and that's one of the reasons why I want to be able to share this phenomena with you. So that way we can be able to acknowledge it and then start to be able to understand, and use that to our advantage in our day-to-day lives. We can harness the power of technology responsibly, manage our population growth sustainably, and that for that we can steer towards a brighter, greener future for future generations. So our big theme for this week's module is that we want to be able to understand human impacts on the environment and be able to explain it from a conceptual level, utilizing data collected by environmental scientists. Now, later in the course, we may be able to make use of this interactive, as we are going to define this term right up here, the Anthropocene. And that's going to be a concept found later in the course. But this interactive is really great because it starts to show a lot of these human impacts on the Earth system. So I've got a nice little simulated Earth right here. It's got some nice mountains, a river channel leading out into the ocean. And just a quick geology lesson. When we look at environmental science over long periods, we need to look back into the past. And so here's some selections of different time periods. There's the Pleistocene epoch, well known for the local megafauna, such as woolly rhinoceroses, saber-toothed cats, woolly mammoth, early horses. And these roamed North America as early humans started to make their way into the continents and disperse around and establish civilization. And then we get into geologically younger time with that of the Holocene, and this is begins at the last ice age, and this is where you get your modern animal species, a much more modern landscape that you see all around us, especially out here in that Appalachian region. But we're really interested in the Anthropocene, and we'll define more what this is, but it's really characterized by changes in population and technology. But as technology grows, it's in correlation to the growth of civilizations and populations. As the populations become more advanced, so too does the technology. And then the byproducts are then released into the environment. For an example, when we take a look at our local agriculture, we start to see a rise of things like releasing carbon into the atmosphere from farming equipment, as that and land becoming more accessible. But then we have to ask ourselves, what is the cause and effect relationship? If you make more farmland, then you might see a biodiversity drop. Air pollution is another good example, as our factories are producing new technology that we use, such as this laptop I'm recording on. Those factories will produce gases like carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and methane, which have been observed and documented in the rise in global temperatures, but also what happens if some of those resources, or excuse me, the technology, the byproducts, leak into our aquatic environments. And that infiltrates our drinking water. And it can be seen also with mining and overall water use. And that directly affects coastal habitats. The rise in cities is especially problematic because factories are found within the cities. The pollution from human waste spreads out and infiltrates just about every part of the environment. So our takeaway here, again, is that technology dramatically changes the environment, and that humans were the only complex organism on the planet that actively uses high technology. And the byproduct can be disastrous for the environment. And it can lead to not just global warming and other negative impacts, but even public health. So as always, if you have any questions about this topic, please reach out. You can get a hold of me through video chat. You can swing by my office or send me an email. Thank you and have an excellent day on planet Earth. But let's keep in mind that human impacts start with you.